Listener's Paradise presents If by Rudyard Kipling. In this, we will be putting up the poem explanation, the important words, the theme or the central idea, figures of speech, and the rhyme scheme. Now, I'll be reading the poem. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies or being hated, don't give away to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on where there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you will be a man, my son. Meaning of the words in the poem, just read them and note them down so that we can use it while we are reading the poem. The first stanza, which the poet is speaking to his son here, in this poem, Rudyard Kipling, as a father, tells his son how to deal with different situations in life, how to guide oneself as one grows up to be a man. In the first stanza, the poet tells his son to keep calm and waiting patiently, trusting himself. If, perchance, all other people doubt his integrity or hate him or speak lies about him, the father advises his son to keep waiting. Allow people to doubt or speak lies and hate him, but not to indulge in lies or hate, nor try to project himself as being too good or wise. One need not be self-righteous, but keep on patiently waiting and wait to come back to oneself again. There is a sense of resilience in the poem here. This second stanza, The second stanza refers again to the father who says, perchance, if the boy can dream, he tells him not to be overpowered by those dreams. Similarly, he says, if he can think, he need not make the thoughts his aim. See the lines. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master. If you can think and not make your thoughts your aim. So that's not the ultimate goal. The next he says, he calls both triumph and disaster, winning and loss as impostors. He terms them as impostors, cheaters. They are both similar. He says one needs to be patient to listen to the crooked people who twist things. All the truth that you might have spoken, they twist it, they manipulate it to fool others. But one needs to be calm and watch when such negative minded people break things one has created or has helped build up in one's lifetime. And if possible, bend down, stoop, and create it back again with the broken instruments. He says there, or watch the things you gave your life to, broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, not to be broken up, not to be dejected, not to be crestfallen, but to be back again, resilient, stand up back again and get it done again anew. The third stanza, the poet says that if possible, a person needs to pile up all that's won and dare to lose them again with a toss, just like in a gamble, and restart from the beginning without complaining about the loss. The second stanza had dealt with the theme of resilience, and the same theme continues here in the third stanza. Here he says one needs to be detached from winning and losing and never breathe a word about the loss. One needs to be fully involved, mind, body, and muscles, heart and nerve and sinew, and force oneself to do things even when he is losing the mental and the physical strength. But the determination, the tenacity to keep on doing worthy things when one is exhausted is very important. He says, that is left, what is left with you is the power of will, which inspires the spirit to hold on doing things. It is the intent, the desire, the wish that is deeply ingrained in the person that enables him to succeed in spite of all the bad situations. The poet puts it, except the will which says to them, hold on. And when a person holds on to that like a straw in his hands of a drowning man, he wins the situation. The fourth stanza, the poet clarifies the need for good ethics. He says, perchance you are in the crowd, to be with the crowd, you be with the crowd, but uphold one's virtue. Virtue, the nobility of thoughts and actions, high moral standards. The crowd doesn't have it. We call it crowd mentality. They all become yes men or no men altogether. But you hold up your virtue, your nobility as apart from the crowds. Similarly, to be in the, if you are, he says, in the company of royalty, the kings, the powerful people, but you be modest and humble, to be to be in touch with the common people, to get on with the common people. And most important, the next line he says, you have to be in control of oneself, whereby enemies, neither enemies nor loving friends count. And even their hurtful actions doesn't matter. When all others think that they are important to you, but no one is very close to you, and you can be very aloof. And in an insulting moment, maybe for those 60 seconds or a minute, you can run away from the situation, from that hurtful situation, and be strong. The Father advises that in that 1 minute, be with yourself and be stronger. When such an aloofness or detachment is possible in the mind of a person, is possible by one person, then one can be sure that the earth and everything in it is his own. And he realizes that he has grown up as a person and becomes a man indeed. The themes in the poem: resilience, good work ethics, detachment. About resilience, the poet says that one has to be coming back to oneself, even if he is put down by others, even if he speaks the truth and people distort, speak lies. Listen to it carefully, he says. Listen. If people are doubting your integrity, he says, allow them to doubt. Allow them to doubt. And you come back to yourself. You be resilient. He says, if people hate you, allow it happen. But you have to be coming back to yourself. People may be hating you, they may be loving you or praising you or speaking great things about you. Don't be bothered about it. Don't try to make yourself feel that you are somebody beyond something. Don't be lost. Come back to your original self. Be calm and watch. People do things. People may break things which you have helped build. But you be resilient to bend down and recreate it. So, good or bad, you have to come back to yourself. He cautions his son against both enemies and friends, but asks to rely on himself for his own happiness. The second one is about good ethics. In a group, good work ethics in a group when you're working together. Others try to influence you. They try to be of the herd mentality. Somebody speaks lies, they want you to join. They twist your words. They want you to be not liked by others. They hate you. But you keep your work important to yourself. Go on doing it. The ethics of world of good virtue matters more to you. You need not be too wise for people. Neither show that you are too good. You are what you are as a human being, and keep on working with the detachment that is necessary for you. Keep yourself separate. The third theme, which is of detachment, it runs through the entire body of the poem. All these three themes, entire body of the poem has all these three themes fully together. So he's the poet, Rudyard Kipling here, he's telling that you have to be detached. You have not to be involved into anything, triumph or disaster, something you are winning or losing. He calls both of them as imposters. He has personified triumph and disaster. He says these are cheaters. They make you have a false feeling. So don't be with it. You be detached from your work or anything that personally belongs to you. You can be a member of a group, but do not get swayed. Have your own sense, a good work ethic by being detached, be objective with the work you have, and just get done with the work. Don't bother about things around you. And when he clarifies the need for all these good things, good ethics, good nobility, good virtues, he's talking about it. He says you have to uphold it. Even in the crowd, you don't become a part of the crowd. You be the man who is out, the odd man out, and you be good with yourself, neither too wise nor too good. You be that ordinary, natural, happy human being. When that aloofness is there, that detachment which is possible with your mind, you can just move out from a situation which may be hurting to you, or which may be transports you in a different world, whether good or bad, and it may be something in which you are mentally worked up. He says for 1 minute run away from that situation and be aloof. And if you can be detached, he says the entire world is yours. You become a man. You are fully grown up to handle things on your own. The figures of speech, you have apostrophe, which is a rhetorical figure in which a speaker makes a direct and explicit address, usually to an absent person or to an object or abstract entity. If, in the overall poem, he has used the word if, which makes a significant use of apostrophe, since the entire poem consists of a message from a father to his son. Then you have assonance, the repetition of identical vowel sounds, preceded and followed by differing consonant sounds, for example, allowance and doubting. The sound of in the middle of the words, look, to, and good, they are assonantal with the vowel sound oo. Antithesis. Antithesis is a figure of speech that juxtaposes two contrasting or opposing ideas. For example, if all men count with you, but none too much, which is there in the first stanza. Then we have imagery. It means to use a figurative speech to represent objects, actions, and ideas in such a way that it appeals to our physical sense. For example, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, in the first stanza we have it, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, second stanza, we have this mentioned. They are imageries. Then we have personification. It is a figure of speech in which a thing or an idea or an animal is given human attributes. The non-human objects are portrayed in such a way that we feel they have the ability to act like human beings. For example, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, in the second stanza. Then, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, again in the second stanza. Then, accept the will which says to them, hold on, third stanza. If you can give the unforgiving minute, you can fill the unforgiving minute. It is personified. Fourth stanza. Then we have metaphors. It is a figure of speech making an implicit, implied, or hidden comparison between two things or objects that are poles apart from each other but have some common characteristics between them. For example, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, is in the second stanza. And stoop and build them up with worn out tools. Again, second stanza. Then we have synecdoche. Synecdoche, it is when we use parts of something to mean the whole or vice versa. For example, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew, in the third stanza. Symbolism. Symbolism, it is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal sense. For example, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss is in the third stanza. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch in the fourth stanza. Then the words like knaves, that means scoundrels, liars, or conmen. Then we have crowds, they symbolize the common folk, the common people. Kings, the important people in society, the royalty, you can say. Then common touch represents humility. Paradoxes. Rudyard Kipling makes a number of seemingly paradoxical statements in his famous poem, If. Here are a few examples you can have it. Trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. See, there's a paradox. There's an opposite sort of thing. You have to trust yourself when others are doubting you, but you have to allow people doubting you. Correct? This is difficult, but you have to allow them. Let them doubt, but you keep trust in yourself. The next one, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim. Again, paradox. If you can dream, a person who is a dreamer really goes into the flights of dream. But very important, he should not make his dreams his master. Let the dreams remain your slave. You work on the dreams. The dream should not get over you, overpower you. They should not become your master. So you can remain normal human being. And if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, so a person who thinks can be a very great thinker, definitely. But he should not make thoughts your aim. Only thinking and those thoughts are the only aim in life should not be the case, because that person may turn mad later on. So you have to be controlled with your thoughts. Next one is, if all men count with you, but none too much. All men count with you. Everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody is your companion. But Kipling says none too much. Nobody should be very particularly too much of a friend for you. Keep detached. The form and the meter of the poem. If is a poem of 32 lines composed into 4 octaves, 8 line stanzas each of them. Kipling used the poetic device of anaphora to form the poem, joining thought to thought across the 32 lines. If is written in iambic pentameter. The rhyme scheme of if follows a simple alternating rhyme scheme. A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. Thank you for listening, and let us know in the comment section about more figures of speech you find in the poem.